Hey you, I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to share 5 tips with you in order to make meals under 5 minutes. So you probably noticed on my channel that I posted quite a few shorts on dinner recipes under 5 minutes, and I'm going to share with you how I managed to create those beautiful dishes with the ingredients that I have in just 5 minutes. So the first tip number one is choose the carbs based on their cooking time. So you will notice I use a lot of, these rice noodles, they cook in 2 minutes. Angel hair pasta, they cook in 2 minutes. You have here those ready to use beans and chickpeas, black beans, white beans, chickpeas as well. And also here polenta and couscous. So I think couscous only takes like 3 or 4 minutes to cook. So really choose your carbs based on their cooking time. Tip number two, and it's about the same as tip number one, but for protein. Choose your protein based on their cooking time. Now, one of my favorite protein to use is prawns. Prawns just cook in like 2.5 minutes. It's amazing. And it goes for any seafood, really. If you take like fish fillet that are cut very thinly, it only takes about 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes on each side to cook. You can use scallops as well. Now, for meat, I like to use minced beef, for example, and minced chicken. And yeah, just making sure that you choose the ones that you know are not going to require any prep, any washing, any chopping, and you can just throw in the pan and they'll be ready in no time. Tip number three, and that one is my favorite, use a condiment as part of your cooking. And when I say condiment, I mean anything like mayonnaise, barbecue sauce, tomato paste, capers, olives, sun-dried tomatoes, and so on. These will give a lot of flavor to your dishes in no time at all. So, for example, if you take capers, they're quite salty, so you don't want to use too much of it either. But if you cook fish, for example, and you just throw a few in the pan, it will give a burst of flavor in no time at all. So, make good use of all of the condiments that you have available. Tip number four, use large saucepans and pans and pots and so on. Now you will notice I use quite a large pan usually in all of my recipes, even if it's just for one person. The reason for that is because I want as much surface and heat as possible, so I can just throw things together and it heats really quickly. And this is how I managed to get, a nice meal under 5 minutes, is to make sure that I have, the largest saucepans as possible and pans as possible. And it's the same if you cook for, your family, for 4 people, for example. It's the same. If you are used to using a pot, use a larger one, and you will see anything you cook will cook a lot faster. Tip number five, and this is another one of my favorite, choose your vegetables wisely. You don't want to choose vegetables that take a long time to, peel, wash, chop, and so on. I choose veggies that I can just throw in the pan and they're ready to go. Like, for example, cherry tomatoes. These are amazing. You throw them to about 2 minutes in a very hot pan and they just burst by themselves and become really melty and beautiful. Same with spinach. I mean, this is ready to go, ready to use. All I have to do is to take a big handful, throw it in the pan, and it wilts within a few seconds. So it's a great way to have your veggies intake, your fiber intake, vitamin intake without putting too much effort in. So no more excuses not to have any healthy meals. You are able to have healthy home cooked meal under 5 minutes just by following these tips. Okay, guys, that was it for the tips on how to make meals under 5 minutes. I'll see you next time for more tips and more recipes. Mwah.